Hello. In this CSS video, we're going to learn about the z-index. Before we start, let's get a better understanding of what z-index is in CSS. When we talk of z-index, it's all about how images are placed on top of each other. On my screen, I have an illustration on the z-index. So you can see these three boxes are placed on top of each other. All right, you can see when I hover my mouse pointer on each of them, you can see that they are displaying and they are on one another, and that's z-index. In the course of the training, I'm going to be showing you how you can get this hover effect. When you hover on it, the image behind comes in front, okay, or comes to the front like this, and this is a hover effect in CSS. This is my bare bones structure of my HTML document. I created a file called style.css, and this is where we're going to be styling our code. Okay, so let's go ahead and then create our divs or our small boxes. So we're first of all going to write div, and this is going to be a container, a bigger container containing all our code. Okay, so our div is going to have a class, and we're going to give it a name, which is main container. And we close our head, the opening of div, and inside here we're going to create little boxes. We will be creating 3 boxes, just like I showed you on the web browser. I created 3 boxes, so we're going to do that. So to create your box, we need 3 divs. Okay, so put div, and we'll give our first div a class. Okay, so give it a class of box1. Inside here, enter some text. Okay, so we're going to enter a text like this. This is box1. Please, let's duplicate this line of code. If you don't know how to duplicate a code, when you are using Visual Studio Code, Control D will duplicate your code. Okay, and this will help you write code faster. But if you're a student, this is not a good practice. It's always good to enter your code manually. That way it will stick and you know what you're doing, and then you forget. Okay, so this is for we the lazy students or lazy developers. All right, and then I'll change this to 2 and 3. Excellent. We created a big div, and inside that div we have 3 sub divs. Each div represents a box. So we are going to the CSS part of our code or our program to style these boxes. All right, so first of all, I get our main container, which is the bigger div. So go to style.css, and inside here we're going to be styling our bigger div. So to style it, and because it's a class, we're going to put periods, and then we'll put main container, because this is the name I gave to I assigned to my container. Okay, so it's called main container. Good. Let's give it a height. Okay, height or border. So first let's give it border. border, and then I'm going to give it 2 or 5 pixel solid, and then let's give it a red color. So red. Please, we'll give it a height because it's a box, so a height of 240 pixels. 40 pixels. We can't assign height without width. So next we'll be giving our box width. Okay, so width and we're giving it 100% browser width. Okay, next up we're going to give our container a margin. Okay, so margin, and the margin is going to be all rounded, top, bottom, top, right, bottom, and left. Okay, so we'll be giving it margin of 100 pixels. Okay, so 100 pixels margin. Good. Let's come down, and then we're going to target our first box, which is box 1. Let me take you to the index file. Okay, HTML. You can see we have a class. Our first box has a class called box 1. So go back to CSS, and then we target box 1 this way. And then box 1 is going to take a height. Okay, so height of 200 pixels, and we'll give it a width of, let's say, the same 200. Okay, so we want these boxes to be like squares. Okay, so 200 pixel height and 200 pixel width is going to give you a square. Okay, so we come down, and then we will be giving this box a background color. Okay, background color. So we'll put background color, and let's assign a red to this box. So we want our box to be red. Good. Please, what else can we do? I think this box is okay. Let's go to our web browser and see what is happening. Let's see what is happening. All right, so we have our box, but the border did not appear there. Okay, so let's finish with our boxes before catering for our border. All right, good. So let's continue. Box 2 is going to have the same features. Okay, same features except for our color. All right, the background color. So we'll just copy and paste, and then we'll change this background color to, let's see, I think yellow will do. So yellow. All right, box 3, we'll come down, and then we'll put box 3, and then we're going to give it height, which is 200 pixels, width 200 pixels, but we'll change the color to green. So let's change the color to green. Excellent. Now let's go ahead and look and work on our border. So I want to believe we are not targeting the right class. That's why it's not working. So container, let me come here, and then let's see main. Okay, you can see that. So this is where the error is. Container. All right. So we'll go back to our browser, reload, and now you can see this is how it looks currently. All right, so let's continue. We have 3 boxes with a big or a border surrounding all of them, but 2 of our boxes are outside, so we need to do something that will push these boxes or place these boxes inside our border. Okay, so let's go back to our code editor and then see how we're going to position those boxes or replace those boxes inside the border. So how do we do this? There's a property in CSS called display. You put display and then you put flex. Okay, put flex there. Good. So now I'll go back to our development browser and then reload. Our boxes are going to be inside, just like this. All right. Later in this video, we will be removing this border. Okay, it's going to hide us or guide us work on our boxes, but after that we will remove them. So for now we have 3 boxes and everything is working fine. Now the text inside, we need to position it center or align it center. Okay, so let's align our text center. So we put text align, right? It's called text align, and then you put center this way. Our text will be aligned center like this. See that? Okay, so next up, our boxes are touching the edge of our border, so we need to push it to the middle or to the center a little bit. So we're going to be using an align property called align content or align item center. Okay, so when you put align items center and then we reload this page, you can see how they look. Right? All right, so what else? Let's remove our border because it has guided us. All right, so remove our border this way. Good. All right, so now we have 3 boxes, 3 beautiful boxes like this. So how can we place this box or these 2 boxes, the middle box which is yellow and the green box, on top of our red box with the help of z-index? All right, let's see, or let's find out how we can do that. So I'll take you back to our code editor and then we are going to target our primary box, okay, which is the red box. This box is going to serve as the base for the 2 or the rest of the boxes to rely on. All right, so because of that, we're going to position that box relative. Positioning an element relative means we are giving it the power for other elements to respect it. So when we give box 1 position relative, that means the rest of the boxes are going to obey box 1, the box with this position attribute, position relative. Okay, so that's it. So after you put position relative, go ahead and then give the rest of your boxes an absolute position. So position absolute, position absolute, absolute, and then our third box, position absolute, absolute. Now let's go to our web browser and reload and see what will happen. So reload, and as you can see, all those two boxes, yellow and green, are now on top of our red. All right, good. Let's go back to our code editor and then do something amazing with our boxes. Okay, so how are we going to, we want our boxes to be visible, okay, because this way it looks like they are no longer on the web browser. Okay, so how are we going to solve that, or how are we going to make them visible again? We can use margins to push them to either left, right, top, or bottom. Okay, we can also use top position, as we learned in lesson 20. If you have not watched that video, go ahead and watch episode 20, because in that video I demonstrated how you can work with positions. So this gets we are building on our previous knowledge, what we've learned in that lesson. If you did not watch that video, this is not going to make a lot of sense to you. So it's better you go and watch that video and then come back to this video. All right, so we want box 2, we want to give it a right position. So put right, and then we're going to push it to the right hand side by, let's give it 880 pixels. So we're pushing our yellow box, which is box 2, to the right hand side of our screen by 880 pixels. So now when we go to our web browser and then reload our page, reload, now you can see this is our yellow box, and it has been pushed to the right hand side by 880 pixels. Good. Let's continue. So I'll take you to our code editor, and then we're going to work on our third box, which is the green one, because our green box is covering our red box, which is box 1. So how do we do that? We are going to give it a bottom position. So put bottom this way, and then we're going to give it 350 pixel down. Okay, so 350 pixels this way. Our green box is going to be pushed down a little bit by 350 pixels. So we'll go to our web browser, our development browser, and then reload, and now you can see our green box has been pushed down by 350 pixels. Let's push our green box to the right a little bit. Okay, so come back to our code editor, and then inside here we're going to give it right, (900). So like this. Now let's check, and as you can see, green box has been pushed to the right hand side by 900 pixel. All right, so now this is the part I'm going to be talking about, the z-index. So let's say you want this red box to come to the front, all right, and cover the rest of them. How do we handle that? That is where z-index come in. So with z-index, we're able to do what we call overlapping. So in order to bring this red box to the front, all we need to do is to give our red box a higher z-index. It's good to bring to your notice that z-index has a default value of 0. So right now, these boxes have a default value of 0. So that means if we go ahead and then give this yellow box or one of them a greater z-index, that means we're giving it authority, and that box is going to appear in front, covering the rest of them. So let's apply z-index, a greater z-index value, to our red box and see what will happen to it. Take note, our red box has a class of box1, and that's the box we're going to be targeting in the CSS part of the of this tutorial or of our code. So I'll take you to our code editor, and then we're going to be targeting our box1, which is the red one, and then we're going to give it index of, so let's say 50. Now I'll take you to our development browser and then reload, and now you can see our red box is in front of the two of them. You can see that. Let's go ahead and give authority to our yellow box by assigning a bigger value or a bigger z-index. So we'll go to our code editor, and this time we're going to give our yellow box a greater value, something above 50. If not, box 1 is still going to have authority over box 2. So it's all about assigning a greater value, greater z-index. Okay, so give it a z-index of like maybe 100, like this, and then reload, and yellow should come in front, and as you can see, yellow is in front. And finally, let's talk about our green box. Want to bring it to the front, so scroll down this way, and then we're going to assign the z-index of bigger value, so 150. Now you can pick random numbers. The clue is all about giving it a bigger value, a value that's more than the rest of them, to make your box appear in front. That's all about it. Okay, so reload, and now our green box is once again in front of the rest of them. All right, so finally we're going to apply a hover effect. That way, anytime a user hovers his or her mouse pointer on one of these boxes, that box is going to gain authority and then appear in front of the rest of the two boxes. So how do we achieve this? We are first of all going to be targeting our red box, which is box 1, in terms of classes. Okay, so I'll take you to code editor, and then back to the top this way, and then we're going to be targeting this class. So I'll just copy it, and then I'll come down and paste it here. I'm going to give it a hover effect, so on hover, and this means anytime mouse pointer hovers on it, we want this particular piece of code to be executed. So anytime a user hovers mouse pointer on this box, which is box 1, we want that particular box to have a bigger index value, z-index value. So I'm going to give it a z-index. All right, so z-index value something big. All right, so we can now remove this particular z-index like this. You can also maintain it. All right, so you can maintain it provided you enter something greater than the 50. Okay, so if a mouse pointer hovers on that red, we want to give it 200 pixel. Sorry, only 200 without the pixel, because this is not a unit of measurement. Go to our development browser, reload, and now let's hover at red. And you can see red is taking authority. You can see that. Good. Let's apply that to our yellow. So I'll simply take you back to our code editor, and then the yellow box is box 2, and all we need to do is copy this class name, Ctrl C, and then we are going to come down and then paste that class name there, and I'm going to give it a hover effect. All right, so here, and then I'll put on hover like this. Now inside here, we're going to give it a z-index of a bigger value, z-index of something above 200. So 250 is okay, and that means anytime hover your mouse pointer is going to take authority. You can see that. You can see that. Perfect. So that's it, guys. That's all you need to know about the z-index. Very, very simple. In order to understand this better, go and watch my previous video on positioning, and this will help you understand z-index. Hoping to see you in my next episode, where we're going to be talking about icons in CSS. If you are not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, because I have videos like this coming up that will help you understand web development better. Take care.